Hey, welcome back. We are going to do our second card, and we're still using the Remarkable You stamp set. And this time we're going to be working with our Calypso Coral blends. So we have our light color, and then we have our dark color. And just as a refresher, the fat tip is your fat tip, and then the small one is your like pencil writing tip right there. All right, and then we're also going to work with our Old Olive, which is going to be one of those ones that we'll probably have to replace if you do a lot of flowers with leaves, and our color lifter, because knowing me, I'll probably go outside of the lines, but that's okay. So this is a card. It's a Calypso Coral base at 8.5 by 5.5, and then it's scored at 5 1/4. And then we're going to add a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of Old Olive cardstock, and then I'm using the thick Whisper White of 3 3/4 by 5, and then of course we've colored, and then we're using some of the, oops, as I dropped it, the copper trim. And this is kind of a neat, I'll show it to you, thread. Actually, let me just cut a piece and show you that you can do it like that, but you can also pull it apart, and you can make it, you can spread it out however you want to do it. So you can kind of make it meshy looking. Not messy, but mesh, like a mesh. But isn't that cool? So you can do it either way to give your cards a different effect. Let me see if you can see that. My lighting, the sun's starting to go down, so that's probably not such a good thing here as far as our lighting. Let me see if I can get a little bit lighter in here. That's it. So, all right, let me go ahead and get started and quit talking so we don't run out of sunlight. So we're going to move that aside, and I have my pieces pre-cut. So let me bring in my white cardstock, and I'm going to go ahead and ink up my... I'm going to go ahead and ink up my leaves. Now, I think, you know what I'm going to do? I think I'm going to ink up my flowers first. So I think I'm going to do that. Then I can go back in and add my leaves. That might be a little bit easier. Before, I was doing the leaves, but I think I want to do my flower. So the bottom corner, I'm just going to put the smaller. This is a different flower that we didn't use in the last one. So this is the other flower that's part of that set. And I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to put this one down in the bottom right-hand corner. All right. And then I'm going to ink it up again. And then this time... I'm going to place it, I'm actually going to place it a little bit higher than I did on my original one. So it gives me a little bit more room. Let me turn my cardstock. So I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to pull it about like that. So it's not quite as stuck in the middle. It's probably going to be the same now that I look at it. But anyways, okay. So that's the flower. All right, now we're going to go ahead and do our, ink up our leaves again. And again, you guys, you can place these however you want to place them. There's, you know, this is just my design, and you can do what you would, you know, what you choose to do. So I'm going to try to add these leaves right here, this batch right here up in this corner. And I'm going to turn it probably just, I think I'm going to leave it right about like that and just place it down. And I always hold it down for about 4 to 5 seconds. That way, make sure the ink gets transferred. And then we're going to put another one at the bottom here, because this is open, and then we're going to put our ribbon up here with our sentiment. Now this one, because it's small, I'm just going to do a couple of these leaves, and I don't really care which ones come in, so I'll probably just get these two right here, because I don't want to put too much in there, but I do want to give it some additional color. Okay, so we've got that on there, so let me close up my ink, and let's go ahead and work on our flowers, and the leaves we'll do last. So let's go ahead and start with our Calypso Coral, and again, I'm going to use the fat tip. So I'm going to go ahead and color this one. I just went out of the line. See, I get a little excited. I'll do these 3 on the bottom, and I'll just throw that one in there. Okay, so let me go ahead and get my lifter. Leave it to me. I'm going to turn this around, and remember, you want to turn the paper so you don't have to be a contortionist. And I'm just going to push this ink in, and as you see, it's pushing it right back into the ink. There we go. So we went ahead and done that one. Now I'm going to add a little bit color down here. I'm going to use my small tip because this is the bottom of the flower. So again, I don't know, but I'm going to go on the assumption that this is probably going to be a little bit darker, wouldn't you? Because it's not going to get much light down here. So we'll just go like that. And then we're going to come back, and we're just going to start blending. We're just going to blend. And, you know, again, do what you want. It's your flower. You do what you want to do. All right. So let's go ahead and come back. I'm going to turn this paper a little bit. I'm going to work on these right here. So I'm taking my fat tip again, and I'm just going to pull it down and pull it down. I'm going to do these 3. I should be able to get these 3 done. All right, so now you can make this as dark as you want or as light as you want. I think I'm going to go a little bit on the light side and change it up. I'm going to put a little bit of shading here, and then I'm going to put a little bit right here. Maybe a little bit there. Okay, so let's come back and let's start blending. So I'm going to start here, and I'm just going to start swirling. Push that ink around. So I'm going to get it blended in. And then this one, I'm just going to pull this, go over this one more time. I want these leaves to be a little bit lighter. This one here, I did the dark right on that bottom edge right here. And I'm just going to color that. Be a light color. So let me go ahead and color this in. And this one. I should have used my fat tip because it just does it a little bit easier. And let's go ahead and do this one while we're at it. Okay. So I love this color. This is really, Calypso Coral is one of my kind of favorite colors as well. It's not really orangey. It's just, to me, it's like a little soft. And I think I'm going to put some here and I'll put some right here. And then I'm just going to go back in and blend these. But I really do, sometimes you get your favorite colors. I don't know if y'all do that or not, if you have certain colors you go to all the time. You know, and then some days you just get in the mood and you use one color more often than others. I love the Bermuda Bay. That's one of my favorite. The Emerald Envy is a really nice color. Of course, I like my Calypso Coral. I'm trying to think of what other colors I use more often. Those are ones that I probably use quite a bit, actually. I really like Wild Wasabi, which is a green. And that's a little bit different color as well. But I kind of like that one. I don't use it as much as I probably should. You know, and there's some of the blues that I like. Tempting Turquoise I like. I don't use it as often as either. Oops, talking too much, putting off the wrong one. We're going back to our dark. I don't use that one as much as I probably should. I like it. I think we're just going to do, I'm going to put this down here. I'm going to put the dark down here first, and we're going to see how that does when we get ready to blend. Okay. So, all right. So we're going to take this one, and we're going to blend these in because I just laid these down. So I'm just going to go over this again. It's going to be a little bit darker, but I want to have this flower. I think I want this one to be a little bit on the lighter side. I love that cherry cobbler that we did because I think that one looks nice. Now this is where I laid the dark color down first, so now I'm just coming in and blending with my lighter shade, and see how I'm just trying to blend to get the lines to go away. And I just want to make sure I get these here. So, and I think that's pretty. I like that color. All right, so let's flip it over. Now we're going to move to the other side. And I'm going to get my big tips out because I think it'll be easier. Okay, I went ahead and stopped the camera and went ahead and finished coloring in the flower. And now we'll go ahead and stamp our sentiment, which I'm going to stamp. I'm going to stamp it right here instead of at the top, since that's where we're going to put our bow. It's all right. Okay, not too thrilled with that, but that will work. It's a little crooked, and I guess I should have... Okay, so now we're going to take our ribbon and go ahead and add our ribbon so that we can tie our bow. And I think I might have told you before, but the easy way to measure how much ribbon you need to tie a bow is you'll do 4 times the width of the card that you're going to wrap it around. So that's 2, and then I'm just going to hold it here. Come back, that's 3, and then come back and do 4. If you're going to tie a knot, then you only need to do 3 times. And this is going to give you probably a little, well, this is actually on this particular card, it's going to give us a lot. So I probably cut, yeah, I did. I cut a little bit too much. We could have gotten away with 3. But anyways, so I'm just going to go ahead and lay this down here and tie a bow. Then you can always move it. So I always just get the thing tied, and then I can slide it to where I want my bow to be. So, and I seem to be a little clumsy doing this, but I don't know. Some people make it look really easy tying bows, and for whatever reason, it's not that easy for me. So anyways, all right. Another tip just to give you is hold in the knot, hold it down, not tight, but just enough so you can pull it in to get your bow tied to the right size that you want, and then just pull back. So again, if it's a little bit too big, just hold on the center, pull it down, and then you can tie it, you know, pull it tight. And then that kind of does that. So I did cut a little bit too much off, so we'll just trim that down. I typically use my ribbon scissors, but because this ribbon's a little bit different, okay, now I say that, now it's not going to work. So I have scissors that are strictly for ribbon. So everybody in my class knows not to use them unless it's on ribbon. So I always have like, ah. So anyways. All right. So we've got that done. So let's go ahead and adhere this to our bases. Now, since none of this has been embossed, then I'm just going to use my regular snail adhesive. And I like where my ribbon is because the bow, because this is an open space. So I like that. And I can play with the tails later. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my adhesive down. And I like using my snail. And as I mentioned in the previous video, if I'm putting it on something that's been embossed, then I will use my fast fuse. Okay, so we're going to place this down on the 4 by 5 1/4. And then we're going to place this down on our card base, which is Calypso Coral. And go ahead and place that there. I always put a white piece on the inside. I usually do 3 3/4 by 5. You can do 4 by 5 1/4, but I'll add that later. So there we go. Our card's almost done. Now the other thing I did, just like we did in the other video, is I took our rhinestones and I colored 2 with the dark Calypso Coral. So and I did it beforehand so that it would dry. So I'm going to go ahead and just place one over here by the word "You're Remarkable." And then I did a smaller one, and these are adhesive. So I use my scissors just to lift them up. We'll put one over here. We'll keep it by the flower. So we'll just do that. How's that? Now, I don't like the fact that it's crooked and it's in my flower, but it's okay. It's a homemade card. I don't get bent out of shape over stuff like that, because whoever you're sending it to, they're just going to be appreciative that you've sent them a nice handmade card. So there's our second card. Again, we're using the Calypso Coral markers and the Old Olive and some rhinestones that we've colored in. So I hope you've enjoyed this card, and we'll see you next time.